Today's video is going to be about my process. You can condense it into 5 or 6 steps on how to wash your vehicle. So first we'll start off with the wheels. We always start with the wheels. From there, the reason why you start off with the wheels is because you want to wash your entire car and then spray your wheels and have that dirty brake dust or dirt fling back up on your freshly clean car. So I think in theory, that's what makes sense. But yeah, I'll take you through the tools that I use. First, you'll want a tire brush. So that'll be your first step. This is a Detail Factory one, so not bad there. This is also the Detail Factory wheel face brush. So this one's pretty good as well. It says it's safe on wheels. I don't know if I'd hit this with like piano black, or not piano black, but just like black painted wheels, or something that could scuff easily. This is the Easy Detail brush. Shouldn't be new to a lot of you. You've probably seen this before. This is great for your barrels. It does condense kind of a lot there, so it can get into some tight spaces. This is the wheel mitt, I guess you would call it. I think this one's from the Rag Company. You can fit your hands in there. I like this because it gets in the cracks and crevices. So those are our tools for today. We'll leave those here and we'll get to it. So many ways to do this. There are a million different products that you can use to clean your wheels. I'd say a lot of them do the same thing, but then again, there's a lot of products out there that suit different needs, right? There's some really strong high pH chemicals that are going to be good for really, really caked on stuff. There's an argument to be had that acid, cleans better than alkaline wheel cleaners. So you can look into those. More acidic base. Today we're just doing a maintenance wash, so I'm just keeping it real straight, real simple, and we're going to have P&S Brake Buster Straight. It says you can dilute it, right? But what people I think forget is when it's in the foam cannon, when it's coming out of the foam cannon, it's being diluted with water. So typically kind of what I'm thinking here, what I've heard on the good old internet is you can assume like a 10x dilution. So if this was diluted 10 to 1, then we'd be looking at 1 to 100. So take it for what it is. I use it straight up mixed in. Turns out really good. Never had any issues. So let's get started. So as you see, I put it on pretty liberally. This stuff is pretty cheap. I realize cheap is a relative term. So find what works for you. A lot of people actually really like to use APCs to clean wheels. So that could be something else to consider. But again, this is really, really cheap. I think I did buy the 5 gallon of Brake Buster, and I think if my math was right, this comes out to that's 19 cents a gallon for me. So I mean, I own a business, so I'm doing this more frequently. For those of you that don't do this that often, you could get away with the gallon. I think the 16-ounce spray bottle's pretty worthless, especially if you're going to use that straight up and not in a foam cannon. You'll go through that pretty quickly. So again, you can use it in a spray bottle and just spray it on. I think you actually use maybe a little more product that way, but again, whatever works for you. Had a lot of people use like Koch Chemie Green Star, and that's heavily dilutable, also super, super cheap. I think I did the math once though, and Brake Buster's still cheaper, but actually no. You can dilute Koch Chemie, I think, even a little bit more. So again, whatever works for you. A lot of people like Adams wheel and tire cleaner. That is pretty heavily, not pretty heavily diluted. It's pretty strong though. That is I think it's like a pH 13 or 14. So, I'm not doing that on every wash. I believe it'll strip any protection you have on your wheels. So I tend to avoid that. I also have Koch Chemie active wheel cleaner. That's also very high pH as well, but it's pretty highly dilutable. So I'll do a future video on probably some product comparisons. I'd love to compare Adams Wheel and Tire Cleaner straight with Coach Chemie active wheel cleaner, probably 2 to 1, maybe 3 to 1, but the lowest solution they recommend is 2 to 1. So that's, in my opinion, that would be their like full strength recommendation. So we'll go through that, see which one cleans better, but got to get some caked up brake dust for you to show you that. So you see these wheels are pretty well maintained, so I'm not getting a lot of browning here. I do have a layer of Carpro Dark Side on here, so we'll see how it holds up. This is the first wash since applying about 2 weeks ago. So what you'll do is go ahead and scrub your tires. If you do have a lot of old tire dressing, specifically like silicone based, you'll want to do your scrub. If you have a decent tire cleaner, again, whatever you use will be fine. You should see some browning and blooming on the tires. Go ahead and hit it. If you're going to reapply your tire shine, you can go through the process and reapply your dressing and then scrub again. Ideally, you'd want to scrub until your browning is gone, and then you know your tires are kind of fully stripped that way, and then they'll be in the best state to receive the new coating, dressing. So just a couple pro tips there, but for maintenance washes, if you have a decent dressing, in theory, you shouldn't have to apply it every time. So that's our steps here for cleaning your wheels. Let me spray it out first. Kind of maybe one other time throughout your wash, you could spray on a rust inhibitor. So actually, I can just show you that today. I'm using the rest of this up. Honestly, it's not very good. You kind of have to use a lot of it and doesn't do a perfect job. The Built Hammer Atomac, which I also have a bottle of, which is just inside now, it works incredibly well. So I'm just going to use this to use the rest of it. All right, so we'll do that and then we'll hit it again later. But again, if you did have like heavy blooming, you could go through with a dedicated tire cleaner like Carpro Retire, Armor Detail Supply. Tire cleaner is killer. There's just so many options there. So again, it just depends on your application and if you want to strip it down. If you can even see the beading that I have Carpro Dark Side on the tires. That's doing a pretty good job, and I think that'll hold up. I probably won't even have to apply tire shine for my next after this wash. For our next step in the wash process, so what we're going to do today is pre-rinse the car. Pre-wash the car. A couple notes on that. So if you had like heavy mud or contamination on the surface, it's usually recommended that you pre-rinse the car before any soap, just so you can get those big chunks off. If you have regular road grime or just some dust, just some light contamination, ideally we want to foam on our pre-wash first. We're going to let that product do the work and ideally break down the dirt and the grime on the surface, and then pre-wash should kind of pull it off the surface. So 2 schools of thought: you can go kind of extra thick and clingy foam and let that dwell on the surface, break it down, and then you're going to get it off with the foam cannon. I think like the more European style is a slightly runnier foam, where that foam is still doing the work, but it's kind of running off the surface, kind of more touchless, if you will. So this car is not super dirty, just some regular brake dust. There's some bird poop on it before, but so we're going to use Carpro Reset today. I use the Grios foam cannon, Boss foam cannon. I use it with the metering tips in there, so this is straight product. It lasts me so long, so I've been pretty happy with it. But let's foam it on. I'll give you guys kind of 2 looks. We'll do kind of a thicker foam and then a thinner foam. So I am a little bit in the sunlight here, so I just got to be mindful of that. So there's a really thick foam. Let me dial this thing back just a little bit, maybe half turn. Still pretty thick. I'll dial it down a little bit more. So that's our pre-soak process. I always like to turn the knob all the way down and get the water out of the head. Or sorry, flush water throughout your foam cannon. I think it just helps with the longevity. So we'll set that aside and we'll let this do its thing. So you can kind of see it coming down there. That process, you can kind of see it taking some dirt off the surface there on the ground. Again, this one wasn't super dirty, but this is the more runny side, right? And here's the clingy side. So you can see the difference where that is just sitting there clinging on the paint. It's definitely doing its job. This, again, is more runny, so it's doing its job, but it's just helping to take it off touchless. Lots and lots of different pre-washes on the market. You could be pretty easily overwhelmed if you're kind of looking for one. So don't be. There's different pre-washes for kind of different jobs. Lots of great products on the market. Again, I'm using CarPro Reset today, which is amazing. I could honestly probably just stop here, dry the car if I wanted, but we are taking you through a safest wash tutorial. So we're going to take you through the next step. So next step here, I'll just give some commentary and we'll jump into it in a minute. But you can do this multiple different ways, right? We already pre-washed the car, so in theory, you don't have to use 2 buckets. You might break the internet there, but you don't, right? You got most of the contamination off, so you could just fill your 1 bucket up with soap and go at it straight away with your soap in your bucket. I do still prefer 2 buckets. It's ultimately the safest in case for whatever reason that pre-wash didn't get off those big chunks. I know I'm going to go in my rinse bucket after every panel, clean off any contaminants with the grit guard, and then move on to the next one. The other optional thing is, again, at this step, you could go straight in the soap in the bucket and then go on the car, or you can pre-spray the car with snow foam first. So all that's really doing is just getting some extra products, a little more fun, creates a little bit extra lubrication, but again, a totally optional step. If you're on a budget and you don't want to waste soap, then from this step, I would just go straight from the bucket, no need to foam it on. So I do like to measure soap, to get pretty accurate measurements as we go. I use this is a Pro Blend bottle. I'm running low here in my GSF. So in the bucket, I like to use 3 ounces, but pretty much out here. So just for illustrative purposes, this is the Kosher Chemi GSF. Honestly, one of the best in the game. I'm gonna say it's probably the best in the game. Still need to try a few other like neutral shampoos, but this isn't the cheapest, but it smells amazing. It performs well. It doesn't reactivate when you spray it, so you can't go wrong. So highly recommend. Again, Adams Mega Foam, incredible. Armor Detail Supply, Shampoo Plus, also incredible. The list goes on, but this is just a favorite. But throughout other videos, I'll show you different products and give you my thoughts on them. Suds to our bucket here. All right, great effect for YouTube there. You don't have to do that. All right, so now we're going to switch back over to our foam cannon. So again, this is another Brios foam cannon. Put a fun little GSF label on there. Just a little customization. So we'll apply. Okay, so I'm going to just do half the car for purposes of this video because we are working in some direct sun. I like to use the, I switch it up with wash pads. I have kind of a lot. This isn't like delicate or sensitive paint. It is coated. So I really just switch it up. I have Microfiber Madness pad. I have a Rag Company Ultra Wash pad. This is the Microfiber Madness Deli Pad XL. I picked up the Kamikaze wash pad, which is super soft, but it kind of feels like a wet dog. Use whatever works for you. Again, like, so we'll get into it here. Just kind of straight lines. Again, not putting a ton of pressure here. Make sure you're touching every area, right? And getting off any fingerprints, any road grime. All right, so going low here. So normally I wouldn't go back on the rest of the panel. So I'll do the whole bottom section here. This is plastic trim, by the way, if you can't tell on camera, so I'm not worried about anything there. All right, so I've used both sides. I'm gonna go back to my rinse bucket, hit it against my grit guard, and if there was any chunks, in theory, that should fall off, right? Also, if you're worried, you can take a look, see if there's any big chunks. We look okay. We're flipping our pad. We're using the 2-bucket wash method, staying safe. All right, so get in the nooks and crannies again. No need for pressure. And that's a clean section. All right, so for this in rinse, I'll show you what I learned how to get the majority of this off. So, gets the most out, but still some in there. I have to wash that anyways. All right, so we're gonna rinse. Now would be the time, if you have deionized water, to turn that on. I do, so turn that on for this rinse, and then that way, if you are in the sun, it helps just with no water spots. But quick PSA. You don't have to have a pressure washer to wash your car properly. You could be using your hose. Actually, with your hose, it'd probably be better because you're putting in more gallons per minute, and it's flushing the surface faster. So the other thing is, while we don't want to waste water, make sure you're efficient, right? Like if I were to stop here, there's some soap up in there. Just make sure you get all the soap out of the cracks and crevices. Over time, that can build up in areas maybe where you don't want it and maybe cause some damage and some door jams or things like that. So keep that in mind. The other thing that I didn't show you on video is going through the door jams and hitting them with the wash pad and soap. Totally optional. You can do it after with quick detail spray. Totally up to you. All right. So a few schools of thought. You can use a blow dryer. You can use a hand one, you can use a leaf blower, or you can use a towel. If you use deionized water, a blower is not a bad idea because you're just going to get it off really quickly, especially if it's a coated car. If it's not a ceramic coated car, it might give you a little extra work. You should definitely get a blower for the nooks and crannies and like the mirrors and the rims and the lug nuts. But again, for today's purposes, this is a coated car. I have a drying towel. This is the Klin Brooklyn, Korea, the Carbon Collective version. This is a tighter weave actually because it's designed for ceramic coatings, so it doesn't leave kind of those little micro bubbles behind. But as you see, no pressure, literally just dragging the towel over the top, right? And so technically this is abrasion, right? But overall, it's not harmful to the coating, right? I'm not scrubbing here. I'm literally just letting the towel do the work. Make sure you give the car a once over and then get inside your door jambs. Again, mineral buildup or soap buildup can occur in the door jambs. So it's just a very quick last minute wipe here. And then it's not kind of building up and caking on. If you want to be super diligent, you can certainly ceramic coat or spray seal or even wax your door jambs, and the water should bead off in theory easier. Totally optional, pretty much overkill for a lot of people, but food for thought. All right, so that wraps it up here. Appreciate you checking out first YouTube video. So if you've made it this far, don't forget to like and subscribe. Would really appreciate it. Help out the channel. And if you have any thoughts or opinions or views on the video, drop them in the comments. Drop them in the comments below, so I can take some feedback and deliver what you guys want to see in the future. You can also email me directly if there's any product reviews that you've been waiting to see. I'll do my best to accommodate and try them out for you. If they're super expensive, you might have to wait a little bit on that. But, if they're pretty common things or new products to the market, I'd be more than happy to test them out and do reviews. The whole point of this is have fun. There's 10 different ways you could do this. You could do it on a budget. You could buy the nicest tools and pressure washer in the world and spend $3,000 on a setup. Or you can get some Home Depot buckets, a garden hose, and some soap from some Chemical Guy soap, right? Like it doesn't matter whatever side of the fence you're on. It should just be fun. If this is like a pretty aggressive chore for you, maybe the detailing isn't for you. You can just go through the touchless car wash, get it done, make sure you dry it off. But if you're here watching this video, I assume you like detailing. So hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Catch you in the next one.